Sorry, ladies, I've been traveling since like 3 a.m. this morning, so I look rough. No one needs to see that picture. Hi, Christine. Hi. I told them all I'm not on camera because I've been traveling since 3 a.m. and no one needs to see that.
Oh, wow. Where were you?
Well, I live in Colorado Springs and I had to take an emergency trip to California. So we finally, through all the chaos, got here just a little bit ago. And I'm like, just let me land in time to do this.
I'm so sorry about your emergency.
Well, that's why we do what we do, right?
It's true.
So we can be where we need to be.
Exactly.
Okay. If everybody hasn't already, even if you think you're in a quiet space, I'm going to have you make sure you're muted, because sometimes you guys think you're muted and you're not. And then, even just moving pens around or paper or whatever, we'll hear that because it'll take the noise from her and take her off screen if you're not muted. So I want to make sure for time's sake, and sometimes people do that and they're on speakerphone and that creates, I don't know, half the time people are like, it sounds like an alien. I'm like, oh gosh. So I want to make sure that doesn't happen. And I'll keep letting people in. So happy Thursday. We're excited. It's June. We're going to make miracles happen, right? We all have big goals to finish up. And, I always say there's no finish line really, but just keep going. But we're going to cross over to victory. That's what I like saying. So thank you all for joining today. And we have the beautiful Christine Jessee that came highly recommended. Christine, I just have not had the privilege to meet you or hear you speak. So thank you for your Go Give heart and willing, because this is nationwide. I mean, someone told me that a group's been sending them even to there are people in other countries. I'm like, I don't care. We kind of just started this to give women a midweek pick me up, so they have some ideas from the best of the best, because I feel like that's what we have in Mary Kay. Some of the best women, you don't ever take advice from somebody you wouldn't want to trade lives with, right? And so thank you for being so go give and given to everybody. And so I'll get the recording out and we'll get it on YouTube. Also, if you don't like to, if you're new to this and you're like, I hate the Zoom and putting in the password and it takes me forever, whatever. We also post them on a YouTube channel and I'll post that. Usually get the recording out immediately. And then that way, if people need it right away for their team or whatever. So we have the beautiful Christine Jessee. It's going to share a little bit about herself. And again, ladies, this is so go give. I just start asking everybody that you guys ask me to get, and you just came so highly recommended. So thank you, my sweet friend.
I'm speaking to consultants and directors, correct?
Yes, anybody and everybody can listen to this.
All right. Well, I'm excited and honored to be here. Thank you so much for having me. Jennifer said I have about 20 minutes. Is that correct, Jennifer?
Yes. I mean, you could take as much time as you want, but some people do 15, 20 minutes because for a lot of people it is their lunch hour, but you do what you want.
Perfect.
You're in charge.
Okay. All right. Well, my name is Christine and I am excited to be here. I'm going to be as surprised at what I share as you, really, because we're just going to ask the Lord to speak and see what he has for us today. So let's pray. Lord, we come before you today. Some of us are late morning, some of us are early afternoon, and we just ask you for a blessing over this Zoom and each heart here. And we are just excited for what you have in store for us. I know I have a lot going on in my personal life and my story, and I'm assuming everybody here does. And we just give you all of our thought life today. We give you our concerns and the things that are weighing us down. And we ask you to just lift those up and carry those for us, Lord, because you are so mighty and so powerful. And so we just ask you to speak through me. And I know I'm going to learn today too. So we praise you and thank you for this month. I pray for just a victory mindset for each and every one of us, including myself, that we're working from the victory that you did for us on the cross. And you are so powerful, and we honor you and we praise you and thank you. We're coming to you with gratitude today. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. So a little bit about me. I'll just share about myself really quickly. I've been with Mary Kay for 23 years. I celebrated my 23rd anniversary in March. And I'm formerly a junior high school teacher. Just for a couple of years, I taught junior high school. And in the middle of the beginning of that, I went to a Mary Kay party. My girlfriend, Sarah, and I both went to college together. That's actually where I met my husband as well, in Southern California. And we were both out of school. We both had teaching jobs. And she was raised in a Mary Kay home. Her mom drove a pink Cadillac, and Mary Kay trained her mom personally. And her mom flew out from Minnesota to Sherman Oaks, California to do her first Mary Kay party with her. And her mom knew me since we were roommates in college. I was not meaning to be negative, but I'm going to tell you the real deal. We didn't have our phones, obviously, then, or social media, or barely email. And a paper invitation came to my home. Actually, it didn't. It went to my next door neighbor's home. And she had written the wrong apartment number. My husband and I were newly married, really busy. I get this call on Friday night. And in the middle of this, I have 100 students that I'm teaching junior high language and history. I'm getting my master's at night. I have 16 units that I'm taking for my master's. And I'm not thinking at all about using a new skincare line logo and selling a new skincare line. And she called and said, why haven't you RSVP'd for my Mary Kay party? And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. And she said, I sent you an invitation. It's tomorrow. Can you come? My mom's in town. I really need to borrow your face. And so I drove an hour last minute. It was just happen chance, but not happen chance to God. I didn't have a study group that day. I come from a very big family where almost every weekend there's a birthday celebration. I didn't have anything. Got in the car, drove. Now, I had really bad acne all through high school and college. So I wore a lot of foundation, and nothing my mom could ever find for me worked. So I didn't really believe in skincare. I stood in the door of her little apartment complex in Sherman Oaks, California. And I said to her, I'm not going to wash my face. Is that okay with you? I'm just here to support you. And thankfully, her mom was not offended by that. And I sat down and her mom said, hey, if you see something that you want to try, just let us know. And lo and behold, by the end of the party, I had taken off my makeup. Back then, we put our makeup on again. I don't do that now with my customers. I just do skincare at my first appointment. But now I'm sitting with her on the couch, her mom, who again was really being Mary Kay to me. And I had my list of things that I wanted to order, and I had my wish list. And she was probably in a little bit more of an urgent mindset because she was getting on a flight to go back to Minnesota. And she knew me. And so she took advantage of sitting knee to knee with me. She held my hand in her hands and she said, Christine, you'd be really good at doing what I do. Could we get you the information? And I said, well, what does that mean? And she told me a little bit about it. And there was just the $100 starter kit at that point. It was the black starter kit that you've seen in the museum that you open up, and all of the tubes of the skincare and all the tubes of the foundation, but it was clear, just our demos. And she said you could get all of this for $100, and you could get your discount on your own product and make 50% commission on what you sell. And I said, well, I don't really want to sell anything. I'm super busy. And she said, well, why don't we just get you started for what you can right now, and we'll see how it goes. Well, I drove home on the 405 to the 101 freeway. And would you know it, before she flew out 5 days later, I had held my first party with her with 4 girls from my school, and I ordered 1,800 wholesale for my star order. And that was the start of my Mary Kay journey. Someone invited me because they needed to borrow my face, not offended by my negativity, and asked me if I would ever consider doing what they do. And the rest is kind of history. That first year, I only held 4 parties in my whole first year. My dear friend, Sarah, she didn't last a year in Mary Kay. She had already quit. I did make it down with her before she quit to Career Conference in San Diego. And I caught the bigger picture. Even though I'd only had these 4 parties, I had no intention of doing a career, but my skin had changed that year, of course, just like everybody's. And I'm seeing no acne through my makeup, and people are starting to buy the product because they're seeing my skin having changed. And I'm putting the catalogs in the teachers' boxes at my school. And now I'm at this big conference in San Diego. And I don't remember anything that was trained there except 2 things. Number one, the former Miracle set launched that weekend from our classic basic of all of the pieces to now this streamlined Miracle set. That's number one. I won't forget that. And number 2, I remember somebody from the stage saying, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can ask God to move this mountain from here to there, and he will do it. And those 2 things, this new skincare line and that small seed planted, really got into my heart and grew. And so I called my husband from San Diego and I said, I think there's something to this thing, Mary Kay. I think there's something to this. And I ended up by myself getting on a flight. I'm 23 years old that summer to go to seminar in July. And I had no reason to go. I didn't have the funds to go. We were newly married, paycheck to paycheck. I didn't have a buddy going with me. I didn't know anything about Dallas. I had never been. I already had this career that I had invested $100,000 into my private college education, into my brain. I had the job that I really wanted in the public school system. But here's what was missing. Are you ready? 2 things were missing. And I want you to, if you're taking a mental note, you're looking for someone who you believe could do this, like Sarah's mom believed that I could do this. It takes a lot for me to not believe in somebody. I believe in a lot of people because I believe in God. And I believe God made that person. And with him, that person could do anything she sets her mind to doing. So number 1, you need to believe in somebody. But number 2, you need to find or hear of a need. And I had 2 needs. Are you ready? not motivated at all by money, at all. Obviously, you're not either. Otherwise, we would all be making a lot more money. So you're not motivated by money, probably. Okay. Even though there's all this money to be made here, you're probably not motivated by money. Most people are not that start Mary Kay. They're motivated to serve and help. They're also motivated by community and support. Then they find out about the money, and then the money can motivate them over time, for sure, when they learn about it. But initially, I'm motivated by two things at this point. Why am I even here in this big arena at seminar to learn this information? And why am I getting excited? It's because my first immediate need at that point was I was in a very negative environment. The school that I got hired at in Southern California was a large group of retiring teachers who I respected. And I was one of 4 new kids on campus. I looked like one of the junior high kids. Parents walked in the classroom and asked, where's the teacher? Well, all of those retired teachers, I respected them, but all they told me was, instead of you can do it, you're about to make a difference. This is a great career, which is what most teachers would expect at, a school and be mentored by other teachers. They were all telling me, the state's going down. Get out. This isn't what it used to be. You're going to exhaust yourself, and this isn't the right career for you. Who says that to a new teacher? I know I wouldn't have said that to a new teacher. I would be cheering for her, going in her classroom, but God aligned a story for me. And if there's any teachers here, I'm sure your experience is way better than mine. I loved my kids, but that negativity really got to me. And I didn't have a support system, and nobody was mentoring me. And so nobody would have known it because I put on my happy face and I'm going to make a difference in the classroom. I'm going to do my job that I'm hired to do. But deep down, I felt I don't connect with anybody. This is exhausting. Nobody's supporting me. And Mary Kay's over here going, you can do it. These women on stage that have nothing to do with my career are pouring their heart into me. They are telling me you can do anything you set your mind to doing. They're seeing gifts in me. They're lifting me up. I now have an adopted director who's encouraging me, and my director in Minnesota. And I'm at seminar and I am bawling my eyes out for 4 days straight, just hearing God pour over me what is possible with the gifts that I have. Well, I didn't know I'd be teaching skincare, color cosmetics, and how to run a business. I didn't know that that was going to be what I was going to do. Hello, I didn't pay $100,000 for my private college education to sell lip gloss, right? But here's what I know. We shouldn't base our future on feelings because it's usually wrong. Usually your feelings are wrong. But if my feeling is telling me go and go, I listen to that because I am a personality that is very content by my nature. I grew up in the same town in Camarillo, California, off of the same exit. My parents moved from one house to another house right on the other side of a park. I went to the same church until I was 35 years old. I lived off that same exit till I was 40. I had my training center as a Mary Kay sales director off of that exit. All of my siblings, when we became adults, we all bought houses on the same street. So just to let you know, for me to make a change, if I hear go and I'm willing to take action on that, that really is the Holy Spirit telling me that. And so in Dallas at the Sheraton Hotel, it used to be called the Adams Mark. I called my husband from seminar. Remember, we're 23. And I said, oh, I forgot to tell you my second need. My second need was I wanted to be a mom. That's really the only goal I've ever had in my life, was to be a mom, a wife and mom. That's all I wanted. I babysat all growing up. I had my little babysitting flyers. I had my babysitting box. I just wanted to be a mommy. And in the environment that God put me in, this negative environment, all I saw was people exhausted. And I remember laying on the couch in my apartment crying after work one day. And my husband said, I don't know how you're going to be a mom with this. And so I needed a positive environment. And I wanted a career that I could work around kiddos. That's what I wanted. Third, I couldn't quit that teaching job if I didn't replace that teaching income. So even though I wasn't motivated by money, I was motivated by what the money could do for me, because I really wanted to quit this job now and I really wanted to have babies. I'm only 23. These are my goals. I call my husband, babe. I actually call him honey. I don't say babe, I say honey, just to let you know. Honey, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to make this Mary Kay thing work. And we're going to have babies. Now, remember, I've had 4 parties in a year. He's like, whoa, okay, I believe in you, but why don't you call your dad? That's the next thing he asked me to do, because he really respected my dad. Now, my dad ran a successful business for 30 years in California. He was very smart, is very smart, but he's retired now. For 30 years, he ran a very successful business. And I called my dad. And you know what my dad said? He said, alcohol, tobacco, and cosmetics do not go down in the bad economy. Go get a pink Cadillac. That's what he told me. He studied the stock exchange for 30 years, and cosmetics tends to be recession proof. He told me that before Mary Kay told me that. I hadn't read the Mary Kay autobiography at that point. Okay, you know somebody in your life right now that is maybe on your Mary Kay team, or she's your customer, and she looks like she's steady Eddie. She has a job that pays the bills. She looks very content. She might not look like she has a need. She loves your product. Maybe she's seen her skin change, but you're not thinking that you need to necessarily share the information with her. But do you know her dreams for her future? Is what she is doing right now? Is that where she wants to be? You have to start asking questions. And thankfully, my dream of being a mom, being around encouraging positive people and replacing that income was big enough that I was willing to come back and do the work. And so now it is my next year teaching. I worked 10 hours a week. That's what I did in Mary Kay. Week in, week out, week in, week out, I worked my Mary Kay business while I taught full-time for the next year, because I hadn't replaced that teaching income. There's no way I was able to quit that and pay some bills. No. One of the best things that you could do is build this alongside another career, unless you're in a situation where you have a spouse that's paying the bills, you're financially independent, something like that. But I highly recommend that you give yourself 1 full year of committing to working 10 hours a week. That means you never miss your success night. You're doing 3 selling appointments a week. That's about 10 hours. And out of that, you're going to build a minimum of 100 customers in your customer base, and you're going to build a team to 30 women with that consistent 10 hours a week. When you do what Mary Kay taught, which is inviting people to see the product, just like I was invited, they're your practice of whatever the new product is, sell them sets, and share the career information with them, either knee to knee at their house, your house, or knee to knee on Zoom, whatever it is, you're communicating. Christine, I think you'd be great at doing what I do. Would you ever consider getting the information? Is there any reason why I couldn't get you the information? So at seminar, my whole life changed. I came back, I did my 10 hours a week. And 1 year later, I went into DIQ. Now, I don't have time to tell you all the rest of the story, but let me tell you, it did not go smooth sailing. It never does. We want everything to just be, I set a goal. I made a goal poster. I made my booking calls. Everybody got so excited with me. I mean, I just feel like every single person I talk to is just crawling to me. trying to buy a miracle set from me. I don't know why anyone can't make this work. I mean, it's just so easy. That's what we want it to be like. But that doesn't create character, and that doesn't build a great leader. I didn't finish DIQ the first time. I blamed other people in my heart of why I didn't finish. It took me a few months to recover from that. I go back to seminar my second time. My name badge does not say sales director. It says team leader. I don't have my teaching job anymore because I quit it while I was in DIQ, so confident that I was going to finish. And now September happens. It's my first month without my teaching paycheck, and I'm not in DIQ. And September 11th happens. I gave you a sum up of a lot of information real quick. September 11th happened, and I'm going to close with this story. The night of September 11th, I had a party, and the party was with a gal named Sonia. Sonia came to a different party the month before. She was the guest of her cousin, Corrine. Sonia's party was the night of September 11th. She was going to have Corrine there, who's her cousin, her sister, her mom, and her aunt. And of course, that morning, we all woke up to a terrible, terrible tragedy in our country. And I, like you, sat on the couch and watched television the rest of the day. And I had this party that night. I didn't want to go. The last thing of importance on September 11th is selling a miracle set. That did not seem purposeful at all. I needed to sit here and keep watching TV and cry and think about these people and pray. That's what I needed to do. But Sonia called me and she said, I'm checking in. Are we still doing our party tonight? And I said, no, we're not doing our party tonight. She said, oh, really? My family's all coming over and they really want to turn off their televisions and they really want to be together. I said, really? Well, okay, I'm a woman of my word. Now, have you ever been in a situation where you said no to a hostess and she asked you to do it? I mean, I've never been in a situation since then like it. It's the only time in 23 years that that's ever happened to me. And praise God that that did, because I showed up. And this is a lesson for you today. In the crises of your personal life, the crises of your community, the crises of our world, the crisis of your mind. We were all in a crisis that day, whether you lived in New York or lived in Camarillo, California. Mentally, we were all in a crisis. I go to the party, set up my mirrors, and I start talking about my product. This is my miracle set. This is my eye makeup remover. This is my satin hands. Okay, wash that off. Okay, guess what happened during that hour and a half? I didn't think about anything else but those people. I had forgotten what had happened that day in a good way. I had fun. We laughed. The girls didn't think about that day either. Do you know what had transpired in my mind during the day while I was sitting on the couch? I have no money. Nobody's going to buy from me. This isn't going to work. This is a terrible time to start a Mary Kay business. What was I thinking? I am so dumb. I'm so dumb. I'm so dumb. That's all day. Besides the tragedy, this is not going to work. Now that night, I forgot about that. I sold $500 the night of September 11th. I booked 2 parties and I recruited a consultant who helped me in DIQ. I was shocked, came home. We didn't have credit and debit cards as much back then. So I have cash and checks in my hand. And I'm like, oh my gosh, my dad was right. No matter what is going on in a woman's life, alcohol, tobacco, and cosmetics do not go down in a bad economy. This is recession proof. I got myself to a fall retreat for the first time 2 weeks later, the first weekend of October. And that fall retreat was so inspiring. Here's what happened during that fall retreat. Carol Anton was a newer national sales director. If you don't know her name, she was the former Gloria Mayfield Banks. She was the #1 national in our country before Gloria. And I went to one of her first fall retreats. And at that fall retreat, it was very somber as we all entered. Just like when you enter a party right now, you might feel, oh, everyone's down. Everyone's down. I feel like, oh, right? But she was wise and she didn't ignore the environment. Instead, she addressed it. And in the close of this inspirational weekend, she had a sign to George Bush, our own personal document that she had printed. And we were signing to George Bush of what we were going to do in the next 30 days to keep the economy going. I'd never committed anything to a president of the United States. And now I was writing down what my Mary Kay business was going to look like in the next 30 days. I felt I took that very seriously. In that ballroom, I wrote down, and remember, this is the first weekend of October. I wrote down, I will finish my first month of car production. I will go into DIQ November 1st. Now, I want to remind you, my butt was in the seat at seminar. My butt was in the seat at this fall retreat. Both times I didn't feel great, but I got myself there. I'm hoping Sandy, Christine, Jennifer, Cheryl, Ashley, Ginger, Pamela, Mary, Carrie, Jennifer, Dominga, Nicole, Paula, Jessica, Paula, Faith, Tracy, Bridget, Jennifer, Francis, Lynn, Letitia, Kathy. I think I got everybody. I hope you all sign up for seminar. Because since I went to that fall advance with no paycheck for teaching, I had to pay for that. I had to pay for a flight, very stressful in my mind. The shift that happened in me when I got home was so purposeful. I have goosebumps all over me because it was just the Lord appointed that weekend for me. And I know he's appointed seminar for you. And I finished my first month of car production in October, and I went into DIQ November 1st. After September 11th, November, December, January, some people don't like those months for DIQ. I didn't know anything different. I was desperate for change, and I had to follow through with what I said I was going to do. And I finished DIQ on January 30th or 31st, I can't remember, 2002. And so I've been a sales director now for 20 years. Now, all the last 20 years, I never looked back, ever. Does it mean I loved every minute of the journey? Nope. Does it mean it was smooth sailing? Nope. Most of it I've loved. A lot of it was up. But most of the character in me that God knew that needed to grow was in the valleys. And so I want to read you this psalm in closing. If you're in a valley right now, I know where you are, and this opportunity is a gift from the Lord. It's not the only thing you could do. There's lots of other things. You've got lots of gifts. But if you're going to take this opportunity and put it into practice for your family right now, you need to do it with God at the lead, not as your business partner, as your leader. And you don't really need to study more about yourself, ladies. You need to study more about him, because you need him in you and his confidence in you. I don't know how people are making it right now without a deep relationship with Jesus. And he has his hand open to you right now. His face is right before you, and he's saying, come get to know me. Don't worry about the other things. Do what your director's teaching of, the booking dialogues and the statistics and the tracking and the follow-up calls. Yes, do that. But your heart needs to be lifted up so that you can do that well with confidence. I have a Facebook wall called Prayer and Encouragement. If you add me on Facebook, I'll add you to the prayer and encouragement wall. This is the Bible study that we're doing right now called The Attributes of God. You are so welcome to join. I would love to have you. We meet on Wednesday and Sunday nights. This Bible study is only $10. It is so beautiful. It is very simple. It takes very little time, but it's sweet time with Jesus to learn more about him. So today I want to read to you Psalm 86, verse 5 to 12. And this is a great focus for you. If you need a focus today, if you woke up on the wrong side of the bed and your thought life is just totally a mess, listen, For you, Lord, are good and ready to forgive, and abundant in mercy to all those who call upon you. Give ear, O Lord, to my prayer and attend to the voice of my supplications. In the day of my trouble, I will call upon you, for you will answer me. Among the gods, there is none like you, O Lord, nor are there any works like your works. All nations whom you have made shall come and worship before you, O Lord, and shall glorify your name. For you are great and do wondrous things. You alone are God. Teach me your way, O Lord. I will walk in your truth. Unite my heart to fear your name. I will praise you, O Lord my God, with all my heart, and I will glorify your name forever. Thank you for listening today. I hope that this blessed you in some way, and may the Lord bless you and keep you and cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. And may he give you peace. Have a great month, everybody.
Oh my gosh, that was so perfect. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all of that. And ladies, it is recorded, so I will get the recording out as soon as I can, because I know we all have power partners, we have team members, we have other units. You are welcome to share that if you're part of different Facebook groups or whatever. Everyone always asks me that too. And Christine, I think that was absolutely perfect to start our June off. That's exactly what we needed. And I'm just so thankful for you. I'm actually in Southern California right now. So I know it's fun, right? I was like, oh, the sun is calling me because we've been getting snow in Colorado. I'm like, this is so nice. But thank you for your heart and just pouring into us today and praying for us. I appreciate you so much, my friend.
Thank you for having me, Jennifer. Have a great day.
Okay, bye, ladies.
Bye, everybody.